Hey everybody, it's Baby Bear, and I don't normally do update videos, but what I was excited about for once on Evony was this Kong challenge, this Raging Kong. He is kind of cute and ugly at the same time, and you know what? I was really giving the Kong Castle a bad name by saying it was really ugly, but it has grown on me. It really has. I think the stats for ground has grown on me, but I kind of have used that castle more than I use others for a lot of things. So, obviously, because we're doing a world boss type challenge, I'm utilizing my what do you call it? The Violet Castle from, Dawn of Civilization, because it has those extra mount stats and monster stats. So I'm adding that castle, and we're going to test out cavalry, as I don't normally believe it when they're like, hey, use this troop type, because every time we do that on World Boss, cavalry always wins. And I've done a video on that. Check that video out if you haven't seen it already. But because this is brand new and because Evony has glitches and all that kind of stuff, we're actually going to do a test of all troop types just so that you guys can see what performs the best. I didn't do siege, obviously, but we're going to be doing cavalry, mix, range, and ground. So you can kind of see the point differences on that. I really like how Kotez and I are matching in our violet castles. And so you'll see that you take kind of a big chunk of power out. But here we have the score. So 7.2, which this is the first time. So, we have nothing to compare it to. So we're missing PP for some reason. Poor PP. We were looking for him this entire time. Okay, so I know what I'm doing here. I'm doing a solo. So what is interesting about World Boss is that my rallies usually give me a better score than individual, even though with individual you have the subsidies. Now, I hear that there is like an interesting way where you can set subsidies up so you get a better score on World Boss. I haven't done that yet, and I probably won't focus on that until my PvP stuff is kind of all settled. But I always want to see how the solos compare to the rallies, because a lot of times, and I think this is because of the military academy, I think it's because there's all of that extra research for joining rallies, and there's a lot of actual monster type research. So I do think that rallies tend to give me a better outcome than using a solo with my subsidies. And we're going to do range next, because Sapphire said that when she did her solo, range was better. So that makes sense, right? Because this monster can take all troop types. So we did a rally with range. And obviously, you're always going to be against the clock with your boosts. I really hate the 10-minute boosts. Okay. And so when Sapphire said that her range did better, I wanted to test that out. I don't have as many ranged troops as I do cavalry. So let's see how this score fares out. And it looks like it's a little bit better. So I have Aethel with my Martinez. So even though my range generals are better, they did give me a slightly better advantage. However, with all of my monster buffs and all of my, research and the castle and all that kind of stuff, it comes to be pretty close with the range. Now, if I didn't have all that extra stuff, and let's say I was just using a cavalry PvP general duo, probably would not get as much damage. And I don't think I'm going to test that out and waste it. I can maybe test it out on World Boss, but there is just a bigger difference when you have monster monster skill books and all that kind of stuff on Aethel. I really like using Aethel, and I'm actually upgrading her. I'm gonna try to not 5 star, 10 star her, and see if she can do standalone and like, pair up Martinez with somebody else. There is Lil Namosa. I think that's how you pronounce his name. If you guys do the relics right now, I think those, again, I don't mean to like go on about the new updates, but those relics really have good generals in them and they give double the rewards right now. So if you haven't done relics because it's a time waste, people really don't like sitting in relics all day. If you're going to sleep, you really should try doing it because it is a good event for that right now. And Evony, they're not going to be that generous ever again. They'll probably nerf it. So we're doing a rally with range. And of course, Evany's not putting the score in. Luckily, we got reports. Can you imagine we're doing all this work and we don't even get any reports? But they're not, it's not getting calculated at all on the score. Are we, oh, PP's actually in this time. Okay, so PP and Kotez put in Cav. So this is actually an accidental test for science. Kotez was saying that this is her best stats. So I think that's interesting, right? Like it makes sense that if you're all putting in your best stats, your best generals for your troop type, how does that fare? And checking again on the rewards, and we didn't get any rewards in the mail, and we didn't get any score calculated, and it says it refreshes every 5 minutes, but literally like an hour later it still hasn't refreshed at all. Actually, this was a happy accident. I actually wouldn't have thought to do a mixed march for this because we're always so conditioned and trained to do all the same, troop type on rallies. So the fact that Kotez and PP put in Cav and Sapphire and I had range in, these were our personal best for individuals. So having that in a rally was really interesting to see the outcome. And of course, I'm making sure that I have all the right gear on. And the other thing about this is because Kong's, now PP's calling it HP, but I think he means XP. So Kong's XP is reduced. Does that mean he is not as strong? And every time we hit him, the damage is going to be more because he has less XP on it. And I don't really see that in these results. This is our highest though. So if you see here 7.5 for me and 24 for the Alliance, this is actually the highest. And so because we did better, I think it was obviously the next test that we should do is all range. And again, it's so dependent on what you have individually because I think I have less range than I do cavalry. But I think the march size is just a little bit bigger on this one. One thing that I do want to point out on this, guys, is that my dragon skills were activated in SVS, so I actually can't use them for another 14 hours. What was crazy was that I actually activated, this is the Nidhogg and Norway. I activated those skills, and when I did World Boss, I got a 2.1 billion score, and I've never gotten that high before, and it was from doing individual, not rally. I think that Evony probably was really nice to me because definitely those dragon skills make a difference. Why do those dragon skills make a difference? Well, there are there are attacks that are extra in there. Like I think it's 30% extra attack, but Nidhogg gives you extra march capacity. So it really matters to have the march capacity in PvP and with monsters. That is really important. I don't know if you guys have ever tested this, but when I got Martinez to 10 star, when I hit the same level of monsters that I normally hit, the let's say like I hit a Ymir 5 and I normally get a damage on that. It didn't give me much less damage, even though the stats were much, much higher. So I think with monsters, march capacity is really, really important. So these decorations are just so cute, but I really like that sunshine. It's so cute. And it does look like a fifth grader drew that, but like this is better than the Godzilla castle for sure. Okay, are we missing Pee again? Pee, are you there? I think we're missing Pee. I think he was working. He's in Thailand, so I think he's on a different time frame than us. And then of course we have a bunch of Japanese. I think Saf's puppy. I think he's in Croatia. Sapphire's US, I'm US. But yeah, I think the beauty of Evony is the people that you meet most, for the most part. You get to meet people from all over the world. Okay, and that's the other thing about doing this. Obviously I edited this down for time, but always make sure that you have the 10-minute 50% buffs on. Or I mean you can do a 30% hour, or you can do a 30% or a 20% hour if you don't want to keep resetting things. But you'll definitely get more damage with the 50%. Okay, and just double checking to make sure everyone's sent range this time and not just cavalry and range. Because obviously you need to have consistency for tests or else you're not really learning anything. Okay. And I got more damage on that, so interesting. That one we did worse than the mix, okay? So my damage was better on that, but the overall score for the group was less. We might have had one less person in there, but I do think that we had less damage because, like Cote has said, his range is weaker than his cav. PP, I don't know if PP's in the same boat with that, but I do think that that's probably the same case with like 10 and other people. And so Sapphire mentioned we should try ground. I kind of figured that okay, we're going to my beloved King Kong castle. Or we're trying to. It's so ugly, but it's like so cute. Yeah, so I do think that trying to get ground out of the way just to see is just, at least it can help you out, right? If you can see our failures on the ground, it might be good for you guys so you don't waste your time doing it. However, if you're trying to get to the 80%, 60%, 20%, if you're trying to get to those even numbers, maybe it's strategic if you're at 78% or 75% and you know that a ground rally will, cut off a certain amount so that you get to that whole number. That could be a reason why you would want to use ground. And maybe you want to use ground if it calls for it, right? Because I think it changes every day. So yeah, just testing it here. And because I think we hit an 80%, it drops treasures, and it actually announces it in world chat and says, oh, you struck damage, and then it drops treasures. And these treasures are actually really good. And yeah, I think this is going to be the last rally. No, it's not the last rally. I think that they wanted to do a mixed rally again after this. Oh, sorry, I'm yawning. Uh, so you'll see a lot of people that are hitting Kong and they're doing it solo. If you saw that, you saw those people hitting the Kong solo. Don't do that. Don't waste all of your chances hitting him solo. You want to do it with your alliance so that you can try to get the most damage and then do it solo. Does that make sense? Like I I think it's better to do it with your alliance and then whatever remaining chances you have, you can do it by yourself to get the gold and the gems. But obviously doing it with your alliance is going to strike more damage to King Kong. So, and just to show you again, because of course we're always anxious to see the leaderboards. It's why people play a lot of times for the competition, and nothing. Nothing. So another example of Evony being broken is kind of like, why do they do all of these crazy events and so much? Like I'm really happy with all the events that they came out with, but why not do like two of the events so that people can really get the maximized effect from it? Because right now there are so many events that it is so hard to keep up. But okay, look at that damage. So that was way less. Like 2 billion less, and for overall the alliance it was a lot less. What's interesting is that I thought ground was actually my second strongest. I thought it was range, ground, and then cavalry, but again, remember that I have the Aethel with the monster skill books and all that jazz, so really the cavalry could actually be stronger because we don't actually see or register those stats when we have that monster gear on and those monster buffs. We don't actually get to see that, which would be kind of cool if they actually had, a place where they had the statistics for monster stats, but we don't have that. So obviously the ground did not do a great job. And yeah, so we got down to 75%, and we're going to do one last one for PP because PP wanted to get a mix going on. And I have 3 chances left, and I just told everybody, like, let's just wait for 14 hours until I can activate my skills again. And I actually debated using those skills. I debated using those skills for SVS because I knew the Kong challenge was coming up and I knew I wanted to utilize them right away. But there was an opportunity to kill some people in SVS. So of course, I mean, SVS will trump, whatever you do. And I wanted to make sure I had stats to kill people. I actually have some SVS content. It might take a while to edit, but I think it's going to be an interesting video because this SVS we played it really recklessly on purpose. Because the server is never going to learn how much people do on our server, how much like people have to refrain from things, and we have people that just play wild, and we always have to catch up points because of them. The last 3 SVSs have been such a struggle. Even though we've won, it's so difficult when some people consistently play reckless and wild, and while they get to have fun, the rest of us like don't. And so it is just a really interesting SVS how we're going to make a point basically that if everybody plays wild and recklessly, we're never going to win. So that's why you see turtles, by the way. I don't think we've had turtles in a really long time. So we have turtles because we lost SVS, and it wasn't too bad. We lost by like I think 800 million points, we definitely could have won if we actually played with strategy and with a brain. But some people think that, oh, we're cowards because we don't just hit anybody. Obviously, SVS is a strategy game, and you have to be able to tell from a scout if you're going to be point positive. And obviously, with people with a lot of T1 traps, we can only rally those people, and it is just really interesting. I mean, we were hitting K40s this SVS and hitting traps with no issue, and it was kind of an interesting SVS because so many people played. And normally a lot of people that don't normally play, and I just think that it's like because we were basically like, we don't care if you go negative, just go have fun. It was really interesting to see the turnout. So, I am planning to do another video like on this topic, but I think it's one of those things where if you are so used to having to carry the server with a few others, it might be a good idea to just let people have like an SVS where they can just be bad and get experience and play without worrying about points and doing it like, I was saying every third SVS, but maybe every fourth or every fifth SVS, just so that people can get more experience without the pressure. And I'm totally down with that. And it's just so interesting how much I try to adjust for the server because at the end of the day, obviously, I'm built to be competitive and to win. And that's just logical. It's a game. That's why we play. But a lot of players make this game about other things. And it's not about, somebody's ego that wants to rule the server, but like they're mediocre, basic at best. And like, there's like little players that want to make like drama that has nothing to do with them. It has to do with the server, and they want to make it about them because they're lacking some sort of attention. And again, I keep saying this. If you want attention on this game, be good at the game. Even if you're a small player, be good at the game and you will get all the attention, all the praise. Like seriously, it's so crazy to me. And yeah, anyways. So it looks like on this score, this was actually my best score. And the alliance, yeah, I think we might have been missing a person. But it's interesting that my score went up. This was another mixed rally. So do with that what you will, guys. Hopefully this helped you, and hopefully you guys get some good damage, and I hope you guys get a ranking, and let me know how you guys did. Leave the score in the comments. I would love to know if you have any other tips or tricks. And obviously, if you're paying full price on your packs, make sure to check out the Amazon affiliate links because you can save money with using Amazon coins. And that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you guys get some good damage. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good one. Actually, just kidding. I went to go check to see if our score is updated, and look what happened. Nothing. None of our scores are there. And yeah, all of our work. And it's so maddening because it's like we were the first ones to do it. Why doesn't it work? It's just another typical Evony thing that you have to log. And I definitely wrote customer service a ticket, and I know I have so many that have not been answered or not answered adequately enough, or I don't even know. I think these are just AI bots at this point. But yeah, it's just another broken Evony event. And it just seems like, why do so many events at the same time? Why not just do this? Like, I think this Kong challenge is cool. Why not just do this Kong challenge and the Shadow Kongs, and that's it? Leave the Weaver and all the other events, there's so many events going on. It's so confusing. So, anyways, here's proof. I'm writing customer service, and just keep a log, guys. Keep a log.